all those friends from the others, today was a working day. So I want to welcome you to this presentation. It's designed for our guests, people who are not in the business yet, and they want to have a look at what we do. So without further ado, I would like to share the screen with you so that we can get our meeting going. All right. What is the aim of our business? What is the mission of our business or our company? Our mission is very simple. Our mission is to make the world a healthier and a happier place. And that starts with you. Healthier means that you've got good health, you have no challenges, and you can enjoy your life. Happier means you've got the time and also the money to enjoy your life. I think, I know money is not the most important thing, but I think it buys better memories. So, without further ado, Betty and I joined this business almost 29 years ago, and the reason we started the business was very simple. We wanted to make an extra $200 a month because when we came to South Africa, my salary as a civil engineer was not enough to sustain the family. You know, when the family is growing, the needs of the family also grow and the cost of living also grows. If the cost of living is not catching up with your salary, you're going backwards. The strange thing is that if you're employed, every year maybe your employer gives you a 6-7% increase. Two things happen to your income. One is called progressive income tax. The more money you earn, the higher the tax you pay. Secondly, is that inflation also eats into your income. In the end, you actually find that you're moving backwards. So we joined this business just to make an extra $200 a month. I remember our first check in the business was about $3, but after 7 months of very hard work, part-time, our income reached $1,000 a month. That's when I really took a serious look at the business. And as I said, the rest is history. We've been very blessed. Our business expanded to more than 10 countries. We've met wonderful people in this business across the African continent, some people in USA, in Europe. So if you're a guest, just pay attention. Now, before I come to explain what this business is, let's go and let me explain the 4 ways that people use for generating income or getting money to support their families. The first is called a job. A job is when you work for 30 days and at the end of the 30 days, you're paid a salary. The strange thing about a salary is that your income, when you earn your income, the first place that your income goes is the tax man. And then it goes to pay your bills, pay your whatever it is you need, and what is the balance is maybe you can save and use for your family. From my experience living in South Africa, most people get their salary by the 30th, by the 5th or the 7th, there's no more money. They have to wait for another 15 or 20 days before the next cycle of money comes in. A job is good because it gives you an opportunity to earn an income, to put food on the table, to put clothes on your back, and to have a roof over your heads. The challenge with employment is a lot of internal politics, but because of technology and artificial intelligence, employers have found very efficient ways to make or to produce goods and services using less people. So if you have a job, you need to think very carefully. The second way that people use to generate income is self-employment. Self-employment is when you decide you're tired of being employed, you want to start your own business, you get money you've been saving, or you borrow money, or you mortgage your house, and then you start a business to provide a product or a service to the public. Self-employment is good because you determine how hard you work and how much you can earn. However, there are a few drawbacks. One is that the business tends to depend on your physical presence. If you're not there physically, no income comes in. A very simple test is go away for 60 days. If the business collapses, you don't own the business. The business actually owns you. The other thing about self-employment is that you don't have any leverage. You don't have a system to be able to multiply the number of hours or the amount of effort put into your business. The third way that people use to generate income is big business. These are people who employ a lot of people. They employ huge capital, and they have, apart from having a lot of employees, something else they have is a lot of labor problems, because when you have a lot of employees, you're sure to have a lot of labor problems. The fourth way that people use to generate income is investments. This is when you have money which is over and above what you need for your daily living, and you want to invest in a product or an instrument or something that gives you back a return. Two things are needed apart from the extra cash: knowledge and the skill of investment. These are the standard ways to generating income. There are others which are exceptional. For example, professional sports people, or musicians or writers. These are people who've got extraordinary skills that they employ to earn their income. Is there an ideal business? Is there a criteria you can use to say this is an ideal business that I can get into to generate income? I think it needs to have the following 7 elements. The first is low capital. One of the biggest drawbacks or hindrances that stops people from starting a business is capital. If you meet any ordinary person, the first thing they tell you, oh, I don't have capital to start. So in our business, you require anything between 50 and 100 US dollars to start a global business. The next criteria is you need to get involved in distribution of goods and services for a very simple reason. If you look at what you have in your home, all those goods that you have in your home or the services you get have passed through a distribution system before they get to your house. And that means that there's a lot of wealth to be created, there's a lot of money to be made in the distribution system. But if you want to be very wealthy, you need to distribute to a very large number of people, and that leads me to the third element, which is you need to have a global reach. It simply means the more people you serve, the wealthier you become. Neolife operates in over 50 countries around the world. In Africa, we do business in 14 countries. The fourth element is leverage. Leverage simply means you find a way to multiply your time and your effort so that your income doesn't just depend on the work that the hours you put in, but it depends on your work plus the work of other people you cooperate with to build your business. The banks know this, that's why they open different branches. That's why retail shops open different outlets. Leverage is a secret of people who are very, very successful in finance. The fifth element is you need to get involved with consumable, high-quality products, because consumable products have a repeat sale. You see, soap, although it's not very romantic, but people use soap every single day, and when it is finished, they go and buy some more. So is cleaning products, so is skincare products, so are health supplements. This provides a good basis for building a business because there is constant demand for the product. The sixth element is you need a business system. A business system is simply a series of tools, procedures, equipment that you need to implement in your business so that you as the owner of the business does not have to be present when the business is conducted. Think about this. If you go to any bank, let me say Absa Bank, I think Absa Bank is in a lot of African countries. You will not find the owner of the bank in any of those branches. Maybe you will find them at the headquarters. Why is that? Because they have built systems, they've employed people to run the systems on their behalf so that the business runs with or without them. And the last one is timing. Timing is very critical because if you start the business at the wrong time, it doesn't gain traction, or it's too late on the growth curve. Now, what is network marketing? What is this business that I'm talking about? This business I'm going to describe to you fulfills all those 7 criteria of ideal business for creating wealth. What is it? Network marketing is a system of distribution of goods and services. If you want to take a product from a manufacturer to a consumer, it has to pass through a series of people before they get to the consumer. They are called middlemen. Go to any supermarket, get a beverage, a drink. If you go and find out, let me say that drink or beverage costs 5 units of your currency. By the time the customer buys it, it will cost 20 to 25 units of that same currency. Why is that the case? Because between the manufacturer and the consumer, they're what we call middlemen: advertising, retailers, wholesalers, regional distributors, breakages, people who keep adding to the cost of the product without adding value to the product. So what we've done in our business, we've cut out all these middlemen, and in between the manufacturer and the consumer is a distributor like myself. So what happens is that the money the company would have spent to hire all those middle people is what is available to pay us. So there are no middlemen, there is no advertising, no retailers or wholesalers. Products are explained to customers so the customers have enough information to buy the product. They buy the products on very good information they get from their distributors. We are paid for successfully referring customers to buy the products. There's a system the company uses to check this. The products are researched and developed on your behalf. Think about this. If you want to start a business or to manufacture a product to take to the marketplace, step number 1, design the product. Step number 2, get raw materials. Step number 3, test the raw material for quality and impurities, manufacture the products, package the products, do quality control, register the products in different markets where you want to do business, put up systems where you can distribute or sell your product. Only then can you sell the product to the customers. That has already been done for you. So your only job is to get people to use the product. That is why you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because the company has already done that heavy lifting on your behalf. So you're in business for yourself, but not by yourself, because you're partnering with a global company that has built infrastructure in over 50 countries around the world. There are no qualifications required in this business except 3 things, which anybody should have or qualify for. 1, you need to have a desire for success, a desire to have more than you currently have, the desire to have a better life. 2, you need to be teachable. That simply means the willingness to learn. And number 3, hard work. These are the 3 essential things for you for success. Neolife started in 1958. It was started by Jerry Brasfield. When Jerry Brasfield was a teenager, he had very, very serious asthma, and his mother gave him natural remedies. When his health and life improved, he decided, maybe I should share this idea with people, because it appears that most people's illnesses is as a result of poor nutrition. That is how the dream of Neolife began. But what has kept Neolife going for all those years? It's now 67 years. We believe in certain corporate principles that sustain or are the foundation of our business. 1, absolute honesty and integrity. We believe that it's important to tell the truth about our products, about our business, because when you have integrity, you don't have to explain anything or change your story. Number 2, people are number 1. The most important resource we have in our business is people. If we don't have people, we don't have a business. Number 3, products that work. Neolife spent a lot of time, a lot of money, put together the best scientific minds to manufacture and research and develop very high quality products. The scientific board's job is just to research and make sure you've got the best quality control. And when they get ingredients to make our products, they are checked for different impurities to just make sure we've got the very best products in the marketplace. Number 4, equal opportunity for everybody. Everybody starts this business at the same level. Whether you're a man or a woman, old or young, an engineer, a doctor, a plumber, a mason, a teacher, Anybody who wants to change their lives can become successful in this business. And the last one is you need to have a long-range vision. That simply means have a long-term view. Initially, you need to have a 2 to 5 year horizon. Then after that, you review your goals and keep going for a longer term success. Neolife started in 1958 in the USA, started in South Africa in 1971. East Africa, that's Kenya, Uganda, Tanzania, is 96, 97. In West Africa, the year 1999, 2000. If you're a guest, this business has come to your doorstep today. Now, which are the areas in Africa we do business? It is mostly East, West, and Southern Africa. As you can see, the green areas are the countries where Neolife does business. In West Africa, we're in Ivory Coast, Ghana, Nigeria, Togo, Cameroon. Southern Africa, we're in Namibia, South Africa, Botswana, Eswatini, Lesotho, Mozambique, then in East African countries, Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. Those are the countries where Neolife does business. As you can see, we still have a great potential to move our products in these other countries that Neolife is not officially registered. Zimbabwe, Zambia, DRC, Gabon, all these countries are waiting for us. Why do people start this business? People start the business for so many different reasons. If you're a guest, I don't know what your reason could be, but if you want long-term success, have a reason why you want to do the business. Betty and I, our reason was money. We wanted to make an extra $200, which became much, much more than $200. Some want to do the business because they want a better life for their children. Some because they're sick and tired of their jobs. Some because they're probably they're approaching retirement and they want something to do or an extra source of income. Some because they want to buy good homes, drive good cars, have holidays. I think a lot of people start the business because they want to make money. Money is not the most important thing, but I think it ranks somewhere with oxygen. Money has three uses. One is a store of wealth. Two is a measure of wealth. Three is a means for exchanging goods and services. Money is not wealth. It is a measure of it. So I think it's important for us to know how to make money. Some people start the business because they want to be physically fit or healthier. So you're partnering with a company who has got a company that has more than 60 years, in fact 67 years this year, operating in over 50 countries around the world, supported by their scientific advisory board, a group of scientists. Their job is just to do research and produce the best quality products. We've got 4 ranges of products because remember, a business is when you provide a product or a service to the public. In our company, we've got these products. The first is called the Golden Home Care range. This is a cleaning range of products. We've got products for cleaning the bathroom, the kitchen, the toilet, the tiles, carpets, your cooker. You've got car shampoos, things that make your home look clean and neat. The second range is the personal care range of products. These are things like hair shampoos, hair conditioners, hand and body lotions. The third is a skincare range of products. Skincare range, why? Because the biggest organ or the largest organ in your body is your skin. So it makes sense to take good care of it. The fourth range of products is the health supplements. These are supplements. The reason why this is the highest selling range of our business is your greatest wealth is your health. Because it doesn't matter how much money you have, it doesn't matter whether if you're in a 5-star hospital, if you're not well, you don't enjoy life, you don't enjoy your money. We have another product that is specifically for farmers or people who grow flowers, trees, plants. Why is this significant? Because in Africa, we've got a very many small-scale farmers who profit or have the best results from this product. I was reading the other day that Zimbabwe has got almost 2.5 or 3 million small-scale farmers. Zambia has got about 4 million small-scale farmers. So all these African countries, if you go to any rural areas in the African continent, people have got small farms. They want to grow their crops for home use, sometimes for commercial use. This is the best products to help them increase their yield. It's very economical, very versatile. You mix it one part of the product in 1,000 parts of water. It's safe and easy to use. It's multi-purpose for both indoor and outdoor plants, and it's been proven. Now, how does this business work? This business works when you do three things every single day. The first is using the product. These are the 3 daily success habits. If you do these things, 3 things every day, your business will grow. The first is using the products. Why? Simple. We are supporting our own business. And in any case, whether you're in this business or not, you are still going to buy soap at the end of this month. You are still going to buy some skincare products, something to make yourself look clean and neat. So you might as better change your buying habits, start and support your own business. And also, because if you're going to speak to people about this product, they want to know that you also believe in what you're recommending. So the first thing is use the product. Neolife operates in over 50 countries around the world. So the company has standardized the measurement of business by using what we call PV system, point value. 100 point value of PV is about $160, $170 in value. The second thing we do is we share the business. It simply means we introduce other people to be product users and promoters. In this example, you've introduced 6 people to use the product and promote. 6 plus yourself is 7. You've built a 700 PV business volume, and your income is roughly $45 a month. The next thing you do is you begin to teach the people you've brought in to do what you do. In this example, the person on the top right corner introduces 2 people. Those 2 introduce 2, and each of them is doing 100 PV. That is a 700 PV unit, plus the other 6 gives you 1,300, and your income is about $90 as a senior manager in the business. The next thing is you begin to duplicate the process to teach your people to do what you do. So 7 times 6 gives you 4,300 times 100 is 4,200 plus 100 PV gives you 4,300. You become a director in the business. Your income is between $580 and $700. Not everybody is going to be excited to be a distributor or a promoter of the product. Some people just want to use these high quality products as customers. And from these people, you're going to make a profit of 20% because they cannot buy from the company. They have to buy through you. The next thing you do every day is personal development. That simply means you take time to learn, take time to be a better person, have knowledge of the products, have knowledge of business. We have a training system or a support system that helps you to grow your business. Training, support, you attend conferences, you attend seminars, conventions, where you learn from other people who've been very successful in the business. If you want to earn more money in the business, it's very simple. Help somebody else become a director in the business. If you help one more person become a director, you reach the level of Sapphire, your income is about $1,000 plus. If you help 3 people become directors, your income goes about $2,000. If you help 6 people become directors, your income goes to about $5,000 a month. So at this juncture, I want to invite our guest speaker, somebody whose story is very, very exciting. Let me unmute. Okay, Isaac, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you, sir.
All right. Karibu.
And I hope you can hear me too.
Yes, you can hear and see you.
Thank you very much, Pascal. I'm really happy, engineer, for the good presentation that you have done this evening. And I thank you also very much for the opportunity to be in a position to speak to Africa, so to say. So my name is Isaac Ndungu. By profession, I am a high school teacher. 12 years ago, somebody told me about a business I could do alongside my teaching. Now, when I was told about it, it actually came through my wife, Purity, and just to me, I had been used to, the going to school and working very hard. And when I work very hard, I would get, good salary, and life would continue like that one forever and ever, And so I went to school. I was born and brought up in central Kenya, and I went to school for the primary school, what used to call the primary school, now is another system. And then I went to secondary school, still within the environs of my primary school, actually. And then went to Moi University. Moi University is one of the universities, public universities in Kenya. It is in the larger western part of Kenya, or should I call it Rift Valley, in Eldoret, to be specific. And I went there and I trained as a teacher to teach English and literature, so that I would explain about the themes, the plot in literature books, and I do characterization, and of course explain the adverbs and adjectives. And I started doing that one in the eastern part of the country, somewhere we call Chogoria Meru. And as I did that, things went on well, and I continued teaching. And when I was still teaching there, that is when I got married, and I'm married to Purity Wamoyo, and between us, we have 3 children. So I taught there for a while, and like many teachers, I wanted to come back to nearer our home. The nearest, one of the nearest towns near our home is Thika town. So I came to a girls' school near Thika. Yeah. And I started teaching there. And as I taught there, my wife was invited to listen to a similar presentation like we have had. And the only time she could be found was on what you call on a Sunday afternoon, for that matter. Reason being, all the other times she would be engaged. Those of you that are familiar with the lives of lecturers, a lecturer is employed in one university and is teaching in another one in the evening, or during those sessions when he doesn't have a class where he's supposed to be permanently employed. And so she got a chance to go on a Sunday. And when she came back, I still remember, she told me, there is something I have seen in town, and we are going to do that. Now, I asked her, Purity, she was so excited about it. Then I asked her, Purity, have you understood the concept? She told me, actually not clear. But what we are going to do, we are going to get in and you will understand as we go along. That is how we started this business. We actually never understood it. We never got the full information. Apparently, to date, 12 years later, I still get a lot of information concerning the business. And so we started off like that, and it was very exciting. But I had my own fears and reservations. I had my own breaks. I was actually apprehensive. I wasn't sure what kind of a business is this. And then I had been used to going to class, teaching, as I had told you earlier, and then I would get a salary by the end of the month. Now, this one was a totally different thing altogether that I could explain to someone about LDC, a wonderful product for cleaning. They would start using it, and I would get some profit from it, and I would also get a check at the end of the month. So it was actually a change. To me, the greatest challenge when I was starting this business was only in my mind, not even in the environment. The greatest percentage was in my mind to change the concept of coming from being paid at the end of the month and now to earn because of talking about TNN. Later on, I understood our business is a business of stories, and I have enough of them. I may not tell you one tonight, but I love stories. So now it happened that that was the greatest part. The other challenge was from I got a challenge from my colleagues, because later on I understood that this business could also be done by people that were not as educated as I am. So I come to a place where even people with only one certificate, that is the birth certificate, they could also do the business. So in other words, the qualification to do this business was not centered on education levels. And you see now from my colleagues and people that we know each other, it looks like it's a business for anyone, any willing person. And we have kind of a regard for education. So that was another now challenge for my colleagues, that is in the school, in the staff room for that matter. And I got the first check. The first check was 1,362. Roughly, those were $10. Now, 10 US dollars is not something that you can write a composition on. And I had told friends that I have now started an international business that is covering over 50 countries. So one of them asked me, and this check you have received from this international company, is it in Kenya shillings or in US dollars? Now, of course, that was not supposed to be a motivation. It was supposed to, pick me down. But I got the encouragement. And where did the encouragement come through? Training. And I continued going for training. My second check was $300, 300 US dollars, 29,531. That was very exciting. Why was it exciting? That money was more than my net salary. Those of you on the call and are familiar with the employment systems, you get the gross salary up there, and immediately they give you the gross salary. They start now doing the deductions. Pay as you earn, pay as you eat, pay as you walk around, pay as you marry, pay as in Kenya. We have had of some introduced taxes. They would also be factored in if it were now. And you would pay for stuff. By the end of the day, you would get what we call the net pay. And the net pay sometimes used to be less than 10,000 Kenya shillings. And that is like less than $100. And for me now, in my second month, I got $300, 29,531. And I was really excited. It was very exciting and very fulfilling to realize I am getting this money and I'm still working. I did not stop stitching immediately. So I would go to school. I would explain the river and the source and the Caucasian chalk circle. I would explain why things fell apart with Chinua Achebe. And then in the evening, I would come now and talk to a number of friends, especially in Thika Town. In fact, in Thika Town is where I became a director. I would explain to a number of friends about TNN and about LDC and about Super 10. And then at the end of the month, I would get more money from Super 10, so to say, than from my employer, the Teacher Service Commission. And I was really excited. To me, it started changing my mind. I was like, oh, there's something else I can do apart from teaching. And I have a lot of respect for teaching. But for me, it was like, there's something else I can do apart from teaching English and literature. And then I would also be paid from the same. That was at another level. And it was really exciting to know there was something else I could do. Because apparently I had been brought up in a family where it was really a humble family. And I was telling a friend of mine that sometimes even the poor, I was poor even amongst the poor. Even the poor people will tell us rather that, okay, we are all poor, we agree. But yours is like it has gone a notch higher. And then I realized, so we had been trained from my family that we work very hard in the class so that we would get very good grades and get very good jobs. And these jobs were not actually bringing very good money. And then I get an opportunity here that I would start earning. Now, my third check hit 60,958. Roughly, that is $600. That was very exciting. In fact, it was very close to my gross salary. It was so exciting also when I realized that this money now I could also earn from different countries. So in other words, I did not have to rely on Kenya shilling. That when Kenya shilling was not doing very well, I could be paid from another country if I had people that I was helping there. So, and it was very exciting to realize also that my market was not small. I was not running a kiosk. I was not only depending on the environment I was in. I could reach out to many other countries all over the world. And Neolife would give me a platform that I would do business in countries I had not even landed. That is another great thing for me. So, and it came in like a revelation. And then it went on. I was able to hit 100,000 Kenya shillings, roughly 1,000 US dollars. Remember, still teaching, still in the class, explaining about how Akoko went to Kisuma, explaining why the major character, Okonkwo, in Things Fall Apart, had to die if you were to conclude Things Fall Apart well. And to me, that was a great revelation that I could earn from different countries. And then I went on, and then I was able now to start helping other leaders to come up. So in my team, I started developing other leaders, and I became what you call a world team. Now, at world team level, I was informed I could now travel outside this country. And that was my very first time to get into an airplane. Some of us probably on the call, getting into an airplane may be normal. For me, it was not. I told you the kind of the family I came from, and or that I come from. And so for me to get into an airplane, that was a great plus. Our very first journey with Purity was to Sun City, South Africa. And it was marvelous to be in Sun City. And we had wonderful moments there. In fact, I still remember I was actually number one in East Africa as a world team that particular time. It was really exciting and very, refreshing. And my eyes started opening up, and I could no longer now stay with Teacher Service Commission in Kenya. So I advised them to look for another teacher, because now they are looking at things, and there are very many teachers in Kenya that are qualified and they do not have jobs. So I practically gave a job opportunity to someone in Kenya. So if you are in a setup like a physical meeting, I would have asked for a club that I'm one of the people that has created a job in this country. So I told the TSC to look for another teacher. They did not look for long. They got one, and I left TSC. And for the last 10 years, this is the 11 years, this is the business I've been doing. So from South Africa, that is Sun City, I've gone to so many other places. We've been to Mauritius, we've been to Turkey, that is in Europe, and that was another milestone, to be in Istanbul, Turkey. And it became really exciting. The money continued. And through the same amount of, in the same business, I was able to put up a home, a place I could stay with my family here in Nairobi. That was a great plus. That I could stay in Nairobi without somebody knocking at my door for the rent. And shortly after, I was able to put up some rentals that I could get a rent from Kenya. I was telling some people over the weekend, last weekend, that if I hear that rent is supposed to go higher in Nairobi, I would say let it go a little bit higher. Because if you're the one on the receiving end, if you're the one receiving, then you would not, you cannot say it to go lower. So, and the business has really benefited me. And one of the things it has also done is to open up my world. Today, I am not in the group of the people that complain. I don't. I left the club of people that are complaining. In Kenya, some people are very good at complaining. I don't know about the other countries, but I'm a resident of Kenya. But we, for example, we elect leaders, political leaders for that matter. And within a short time, we start seeing they have issues and they have problems, and we start complaining. And we start saying, these are the people causing all the problems we have. I'm a Kenyan, but I purposely disengage from such complaining. The idea is my success, the kind of the business I'm doing, the success is purely on my hand. So because when there may be issues in Kenya, there are no issues in Namibia. There are no issues in Malawi, per se. There are no issues in the US. There are no issues in Canada. There are no issues, really similar to those ones in Kenya. And the Neolife has given me platforms. Neolife has given me a chance to do businesses in those areas. Neolife came up with another idea of developing a website. Now I have a personal website from the business. That is really encouraging. This website helps me to sponsor people or to bring people over into my team when they are in other countries, merely by using my phone. So somebody can join my team when they are in other countries, either in Africa or outside Africa, using a website given to me by the company. So that is really exciting. So I find the future of this business quite great in the sense that I can do business anywhere. Right now, I am talking with Engineer Pascal. We are coordinating with him, and he is way down in South Africa. Now, I don't know whether South Africa is supposed to be down or, okay. Now, the way I was taught, South Africa should be down and Egypt should be up. So he is way down there in South Africa, and I am here in Kenya, and I'm able to do business. We have friends here that have joined this call. They're coming from Uganda, others from Tanzania, others from many other countries. That's really exciting. To me, being given a platform where I can do business beyond my immediate environs, that's a great plan. Where do I see the future? Great. In fact, I look at this business like really a miracle for me. And I've also benefited in terms of, personal development. There were days I would always see, I was relatively quite naive, in fact. Though I had been used to talking to students, when you are a teacher, you know everything virtually. When you get into the class, I had like a biology teacher who went to a class and said, all reptiles live in water. And then one of the students asked the teacher, but teacher, what about chameleons? And then the teacher cannot now make a mistake. He said, even chameleons can live in water if they choose to. You see, virtually when you are a teacher, especially in some schools, you know everything. Now, when you get out now and you're in business like this one, then you realize you are meeting people of your age, and they may not give you the same reverence as the students would give you, and it may not be very sweet. So they would actually ask questions. So for me, it was such a challenge to be able to speak to people and tell them about a business I'm doing and for them to see sense in it. But over the time, there has been a lot of personal development. I'm able to interact with people in a better way. I'm able to become a better person. I'm able to look at things differently. My interaction skills have become better. And I have realized if there is anybody to challenge, is me first of all, before I point out to many other people around me. So I'm really excited about this opportunity. And the guests on board, if you're here and you're a guest, this is the place to be. If you're here, you have just started the business, you are in your formative stages, if I would call it, in the business, this is the place to be. So I'm really excited. Next month, that is the month of May, I'll be speaking from South Africa, to be specific, in Cape Town. So I want to go. I was told about some Table Mountains. I want to find them. I want to find them. I want to see them physically, and probably get a chance to see the Cape of Good Hope, as I saw in one of the history books where Vasco da Gama saw that. So, Pascal, you have 15 minutes to conclude the meeting. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. Engineer, take it up. Asante sana.
Thank you very much, Isaac. In fact, Isaac, Mwalimu, I agree with you so much about students asking difficult questions. A student asked, when he was told David Livingstone discovered Lake Tanganyika, said, but there are no people in Lake Tanganyika. It is true that in this business, you never quite say that you know everything, because you learn from people every day. Isaac, thank you so much for your wonderful story. I always sit here and enjoy your story. And I would say if I was a guest, I would be thinking about making a decision. I would join the business immediately. Thank you so much for your story.
Thank you very much.
So, ladies and gentlemen, that is our guest this evening. I think that Isaac has given you a really good perspective of what the business can do or what the business has done in his life. There is really little I can add to that story. Just to say that Neolife takes full advantage of technology. If you want to order products, you can do it online. If you want to register new distributors, you can do it online. You have your own personalized website called your back office, where you can monitor and manage your business 24/7. Even if you wake up at 2 o'clock in the morning and you go to the website, you can check how your team is doing worldwide. Training is done locally and internationally. I mean, I was checking the screen this while Isaac was sharing with us his wonderful story. There are people from across the continent who are attending this meeting today. Delivery of products. Every market that our company does business, they contract local courier companies to deliver products to our customers and distributors. Payment for products by distributors or payment of bonuses by the company is done by electronic funds transfer or mobile money to make the business as efficient as possible. We've also partnered with some of the best sports people in the world because they know the quality for our products. The Springboks of South Africa have been using our products for very many years because they know the quality of the products. At this level of sports, you require the very best to have an edge over your opponents. Conventions. Every year, the company meets in different regions to share success and appreciate the people, and the successful people share their stories. In Dar es Salaam, East Africa, the meeting is going to be in Dar es Salaam. In Southern Africa, the meeting is going to be in Pretoria. In West Africa, we've got the meeting in different regions. I think in Nigeria, there are going to be 4 or 5 different meetings because of the size. Then in Ghana, Ivory Coast, Togo, all those regions are going to have their own conventions. If you want to get started, you need some money to get the business started. If you're a guest, go back to the person who invited you. They'll give you an application form. If you're in Botswana, you need between 720 and 1450 pula. In South Africa, you need between 910 and 1980 rand. In Kenya, 9,200 or 11,700 shillings. In Nigeria, the price has gone up a little bit because of the exchange rate. In Nigeria, it's between 68,000 and 100,000 naira. Tanzania, 167,000 or 217,000 Tanzania shillings. In Uganda, 250 or 280,000 Uganda shillings. USA, $75. Togo's 46,200 or 61,500. In Italy, 64 euros. In Ghana, 800 or 1,300 Ghanaian cedis. In Cameroon, is 60,000 or 74,000 francs CFA. This is your initial investment in the business if you're going to get started, to give you enough all the information you need to run and grow your business. The power of leverage. This is one of the keys or the secrets of successful people. If I give you $1 million or I give you 1 cent doubled daily for 31 days, what would you choose? The ordinary person would choose $1 million. But if you double 1 cent every day for 31 days, you get $10.737 million. That's the power of leverage. So remember, if you're a guest, the first step is to make a decision. Success begins with a decision. If you don't make a decision, nothing will change. Once you've made a decision, you need to have the following. Number one, you need to know what you want. What is your dream? What do you want to do? What has been your desire to have, but for some reason you've not been able to achieve it? Number two, you need to know you need to allow yourself to learn. You need to be teachable, to know what to do and to know how to do it. Teachability. The more teachable you are, the more successful you're going to be. Number three, hard work. Just sheer hard work, discipline, guts, persistent, talking to people. This is what our business is. And number four, you need to have belief in yourself, in your sponsor, that is the person who invited you to look at this business, and in the company, Neolife. If you have these things going for you, you're going to be very, very successful. I want to challenge the guests who are here. Make a decision and say, yes, I want to start this business. I want to give it 2 years of very, very hard work, because I've heard the stories in this business that it is possible to succeed. Make that decision, get back to the person who invited you, tell them you want to start the business and you're asking for guidance to become successful in the business. That is your next step. Make a decision, get on with the program, know how the system works, and if you apply simple things every day, you're going to be very, very successful. Ladies and gentlemen, you've been a wonderful audience. I want to thank Isaac for his wonderful story, and for all those guests who have attended this meeting today. I wish you the very best. Good night and God bless.